First day of spring, might as well have our first day of the lawn season. And I'm not even touching the grass. Listen, folks, y'all gotta start paying attention to this too. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm starting my lawn season today, and I'm not even doing anything with the grass. Listen, folks, I know we want to have a nice lawn, super nice turf, but if you really want to take it to the next level, you gotta start paying attention to your flower beds and getting those on point as well. Sure, I know lots of channels out there on YouTube really touting their super nice golf course lawns, but if you notice, golf courses have really nice landscaping as well. So that's where I am kicking off my lawn season today. I'm not even touching the grass. You know, in the last video I talked about how I'm not even going to use a Preemergent this spring, so I'll leave a link to that down below. So normally that would be my first step of the season, but today I'm going to get in the flower beds and we are going to get things nice and cleaned up and ready to rock and roll, because if you ask me, that is just as important as the grass in my lawn. But speaking of the grass, we're starting to see a little bit of green breakthrough, especially in some of my thinner areas. Seeing some grass starting to come alive, and it's a good sign, because some of these areas, if you were following along last season, these were some of my big spring dead spot areas that, coming out of dormancy, just never greened up, suffered from that spring dead spot disease. I'll leave some links to some videos all about that down below as well. But I'm already seeing green in those areas, so perhaps, just maybe, the round of fungicide we put down back in the fall did its job and is going to keep me from dealing with that again this season. So I'm super excited about that. I'll keep you posted on how that goes as things start to green up even more, especially after our scalp coming up here in a few weeks. But on the flip side of that, I am a little bit more worried with those thinner areas about some weed breakthrough, since I'm not using a Preemergent this spring. So I'll keep you posted on that as well. Lots of things to be keeping up with right now. It's going to be a fun season. I hope you'll follow along and consider subscribing if you're not already. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video, a comment down below. I really do appreciate your support. About the only thing, I'll take it back, the only thing I'm going to do in my lawn today, as far as grass goes, is I've got a few, what do you call that, wild onion, wild garlic, and those are just super hard to get rid of, because the bulb down in the ground makes it hard to pull out the whole thing. So I won't worry about getting all that out. I just like to just pull them out at the surface when I see them, so you don't see them sticking up in the brown dormant Bermuda. But our main objective for today is to get this flower bed cleaned up. And the first thing I'll do is come through here, get weeds out. All these are perennials, so they've got a lot of dead material on them from last season. And I'm just gonna get all that out of here and open it up to where all the new growth of perennials will start breaking through. And here in a few weeks, as these temperatures start going up, it's going to look completely different and full of life. You can see these right here, these are my French Kiss. Those are late winter, early spring bloomers. Those are already looking good. Got to get the dead material from last season off. These kaleidoscope abelias right here, these were full of leaves. I mean, completely full, until we hit those negative 20-degree temperatures back around the mid part of February, and they all dropped off. The mild winter still had all the leaves on them, and I was hoping we'd get through the season without all those falling off, because now I got a mess to clean up. But it is what it is. And those cold temps, I mean, these Nandinas, super hardy, still took a hit from those brutally cold temperatures, ice and snow that we had. But you just watch. All this, after we clean it up today, will look amazing. And I'm telling you folks, when you have something like this, it looks really nice. It takes a little bit of the attention and eyeballs off your lawn, and you don't have to be so obsessive about the grass being so perfect, because then you just kind of have the total package. If you ask me, that's what I want. So stick around. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the process that I will navigate to get this cleaned up, because if you haven't started thinking about your landscaping, your flower beds, now is the time. Take it up a notch this season, and just like I help you out with the grass, I'll help you out with that too. Oh, you know how I do things around here. No fancy schmancy expensive equipment for this guy. I need a pickle bucket. I need a lawn bag. Oh, yeah. Oh, who else is like just always having to work around kid stuff in the garage? Let's get a pair of gloves, because it's going to be a messy job today. We need our little steel, what do you call these, pruning things, and a spade. And, you know what? That's it. Oh, so why the pickle bucket, you might ask? Well, these bags, like, I've got one of those things to hold it up, but it just kind of becomes a pain in the rear. So I just use the pickle bucket to throw all the excess dead material in, which it's full of all that from last season. And then I will take it from the bucket into the bag. You know, that just seems to be the technique that works best for me. And you know what? Whatever works best for you is the way to go. There is no hard and fast, perfect way to do things. Trial and error. All right, let's do this. It's always so daunting to start. So where do I start? Well, the first thing I will do is go around my edge and clear out all the leaves and moss and all the other gunk in it. This is the north side of the house. So in the wintertime, as you can see, it's mainly shaded now, but in the wintertime, it's pretty much shade all day long, never gets any sun. So that's why I deal with a lot of moss issues. It stays wet up here. But before too long, as that sun keeps shifting up higher in the sky for the spring and summer, a lot of those issues will disappear. It'll stay drier, hotter, more airflow in through here, and all that will be gone. So honestly, I might pick some of that off, but for the most part, it doesn't bother me. Really just want to get it out of here. And then I'll just work my way from this side of the flower bed around, cleaning, trimming, pruning, pulling everything out. So by the time I get to that side over there, I am finished. First things first. Gloves. And no, I don't go get like super expensive gloves. I get these cheap cloth gloves that I can just destroy and get a new pair when these don't really serve their purpose anymore. You get like a 10 or 12 pack for really nothing at all at the hardware store in Fayetteville, my favorite place. And that's how I roll. I'll just use this pickle bucket, since the ground is wet and nasty, as a, you know, something to kneel on to keep my knees from getting soaking wet. And there we go. We're going to do this from here all the way around. A little POA finding its way into the flower bed. That's okay. That's okay. A lot of mulch when it rains, the rain just comes out of that gutter over there and down these rocks, and just really, if it's a heavy downpour, can just move the mulch out of the flower bed. But once the season gets going and I'm edging through here all the time, all these problems that I've got right now become pretty much non-existent. Okie dokie, we have gone around both flower beds. This one over here on the left side of the garage, it was just infested with weeds back here, and you can see I pulled them up, but I didn't get everything. There's no point in worrying about all these kinds of weeds, these cool season weeds. When it gets hot and I'm blasting that with the trimmer, it'll be so dry back there, nothing will survive. But around the stones, everything looks good. This holly bush took a beating from the cold weather as well. We'll come back to that. That'll be the last thing I do. Around these stones, all cleaned out. It's time to start right here with the astilbes. Get some of these weeds out of here and then move our way around. These are the coneflowers, some coreopsis. When all this gets filled back in and looking like it should, I'll come back and do another video to tell you what all these plants are if you're interested in any. And if you have any specific questions about how to trim or cut back, prune, take care of a certain plant, leave a comment down below and I'll address those if you have any. But I'm not going to bore you with going around every single one of these. There's a lot of plants in here and it's going to take me quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and show you what this looks like when we're all finished up. These stones, though, I did want to mention, I did this all myself, so if you've got access to some stones that aren't being used or you're thinking about doing it, this was not very hard, people. My wife and I did this, and it was so much fun playing with the fall to let the water come down instead of pooling up or getting caught up in the flower bed. So don't be overwhelmed by projects like this. You can do it if you want. Little confidence goes a long way. But we're going to start pulling all this back, and you can see in here, see all this new growth coming through in these astilbes. All this needs to be cleared out to give that more room to come up. Same thing on these coneflowers. You can see the new growth in there. That's what I love about perennials. I don't have to plant anything new this year. It looks like everything is coming back. Coreopsis are fine. So when you do annuals, you have to come back each season and plant a new round of plants because they don't make it through the winter. But these, I guess you could say they hibernate in the winter and come back to life in the springtime. And that's what I like. Low maintenance, less work, and still get all the beautiful benefits out of them. All right, enough jabbering, Travis. I'll be back in a second with the finished product after I get all this mess cleaned up. Bada bing, bada boom. Dunzo. I'm going to be sore tomorrow on my knee. Okay, let's not even go there. All right, so much cleaner. Oh, makes all the difference in the world. Went ahead and left the moss on the stones. Who really cares? But look at that. So fresh, so clean, ready to go for the season. Now all it is simple maintenance and trimming back and deadheading as needed. The hard part is finished. Now normally I would come in at this point and I would put down a fresh thin layer of mulch to freshen it back up, and normally I would clean out much more of those leaves back in the back. But you know what, I've kind of realized each year that goes on that I don't have to do so much all the time. Last 3 years I've split a scoop of mulch with some other folks, and they're not mulching this year, and I don't need a full scoop because I don't buy it by the bag, I buy it by the truckload. So there's no point in me doing it this year. I've put mulch down every year for the last 3, So it's not going to make much difference. Yes, I know mulch is for more than just appearance. It's for a lot of other things, but I've got plenty in there. No need in piling any more on. This side over here, all finished up, all cleaned up. It's that simple. That's all I've got for you today. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.